So what is a library binding? If you love learning cool book facts, don't forget to subscribe for more. It's something every book lover dreads, picking up a favorite title and having pages separate from the spine, looking on as wonderful prose becomes unmoored from its binding. This can happen with a book that's barely been touched, yet some library titles appear to last for decades and pass through countless hands without coming apart. Why? The secret is in a process known as library binding. To put library binding in context, it helps to understand how book publishers assemble books for commercial sale to consumers. Pages are put together in blocks, also known as signatures, which are comprised of folded pages. The blocks are glued together and then the vertical end with the fold is cut off so that each individual page is glued to the spine. This process is known as trade binding or perfect binding. In library binding, however, books are sewn together, which creates a more durable bond than adhesive. While some consumer titles are also sewn, it's just one step of the overall library binding process. In order to be considered library bound, books need to be assembled according to a set of strict requirements approved by several bodies: the American National Standards Institute, the National Information Standards Organization, and the Library Binding Committee. Collectively, the protocol is known as the ANSI/NISO/LBC-Z 39.78-2000. Revised 2018, Standard for Library Binding, which is often mercifully shortened to the standard. The requirements to meet the standard are exhaustive. Suffice it to say, the sewing must be done to specification. Often, a cloth material known as buckram is used for covers because it's highly durable against water, mildew, and scratches. While some books can be ordered to the standard, others can be submitted to a certified library binder for what amounts to spinal surgery, with the book reinforced to stand up to the rigors of library borrowing. The standard first took root in the 1920s, when school officials and school librarians noticed that books weren't rugged enough to tolerate use in educational settings. A standard was created by librarians and book manufacturers. By 1935, library binding had branched off from the publishing world, likely in an effort not to have the standard undermined by publishers looking to spare expense. So, cost is a big reason why not all books adhere to the standard. Library binding is just more expensive and, publishers generally want to keep production expenses to a minimum. Libraries might pay more upfront, but they're likely to save money in the long run, since books in their inventory won't need to be replaced as often. There's really no broadly accessible data on what percentage of library books are actually bound, or how accessible books that conform to the standard are. Scholastic, for example, offers library-bound copies of a number of titles through its teacher's sales portal. And yeah, some vendors might offer binding with more durable materials even if they don't strictly conform to the standard. Would consumers buy library editions if they were more widely available? Well, probably not. Paperbacks tend to outsell hardier hardcovers, making up roughly 80% of all book sales. It's pretty unlikely that consumers would go for more expensive editions, especially when privately owned books just aren't handled nearly as much as a textbook or a library title. The consequence, of course, is that one day a favorite book may just fall apart in your hands, but hey, maybe your local library will have a copy.